Mike, just been catching you give a masterclass today with all your fighters, and what a busy gym today, and there's a few still not even here today.
Yeah, obviously the kids are off school now as well, you know, with it being 6-week holidays in summer, so we've got some of the amateur kids in with the pros, you know, just mixing up a little bit for them, just showing them what the pros are doing, just showing them basically that a lot of the stuff technically wise is not a lot of difference, do you know what I mean, with what we're showing them at night time, just the basics, similar basics.
Well, you're fortunate because Sharpstown closed down, and you work very closely with Andy Abro at Sharpstown, because I know you used to take all your amateurs down there and spar with them, and vice versa, you used to come up here. So it was just a natural progression for them to come from there to yours, wasn't there? And you've got, I think, 4 or 5 of them.
If I'm being honest with you though, I didn't expect the lads to come down here. Maybe Levi might have come, but the other kids I weren't too sure. So when they did come down and asked, obviously I spoke to Andy, you know, I was buzzing obviously because they're top class kids. They're not just they're like the international top class kids as well, European champions, kids
crazy
for the world.
Amount of talent they've got.
Yeah, they're good. So it's a good mixture, and it's good that they've got a different style as well, because our lads have got their own style. Well, they've not got one particular style. They've got the same basics.
Yeah.
These may have different basics, so we can work on them. The kids, our kids can pick up off them. They can pick up off ours as well. So
that's a good thing about this, Jim. As you just said there, you know, no one really boxes the same. You know, you can't just say, oh, he's a Jennings fighter. You just work and try and bring out the best for that fighter, don't you?
Yeah, because what I do, I'll just try and give them ideas, different ideas, and let them do what they want with them ideas. So it's like the jab, the 1-2s, yeah, they're all pretty basic, your hooks and stuff like that. Footwork's a little bit different. I'll give them some ideas on moves, and I just want them to add it into what they already know. Because these are kids that are, like I said, they're not novice kids, they're good amateur kids.
Well, I was listening to you was talking about feinting and all those, the subtleties of boxing, and when you think about it, like, you know, I was looking in the ring with the pros. You had Mark Jeffers, what's he, WBO global champion. You've got Jack Cullen, who's just fought for the European super middleweight title. You've got Matthew Rennie, who's just about to step into those levels. He's got a good top of the bill in Blackpool for us against a rematch against Mr. Ben Fields. And then you've got all these other young kids who, like you just said, you know, they've not just been a champion. They've been multinational champions.
Yeah.
You're talking 4, 5, 6 times.
Yeah, they're all good kids, aren't they?
And I forgot him to mention young Ali Javed.
Ali Javed, obviously a little Owen Lithgow. Again, he's a very good kid. Got my own 2, Mikey and Jack. Corey Scott. We've got some good kids coming.
How proud are you as well, because I've just done a little interview with your Mikey and Jack, and they both won gold at the I'm going to call it the inaugural Manchester Cup, because I believe it did happen a couple of years ago, but it all fell apart. So this is the first one that was completed and was a real success.
Yeah, it was. You know what? It was a breath of fresh air for us, because normally we've been to a few of these box cups and they've been. And it's not just one particular one, a few of them that we've been to, you know, they've not been handled that well. This one, it was smooth. I'll go back to it 100%, you know, everything was, we knew when we was boxing, the times, everything, the weigh-ins, and it was a good tournament, to be honest with you.
Well, how proud are you? Because your sons were never going to be boxers.
Yeah, obviously I'm proud of them. I am proud. I'm proud of them, even if they didn't do boxing anyway. Do you know?
I know,
this
but
is just
secretly though, as a
no,
fighter,
listen, when they're boxing, you don't want anything more in the world for them to win.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's what you want. They're in there. They're your kids. So you don't want to see them get hurt. You want them to beat someone up, don't you? If they're in a boxing ring. So yeah, I mean, I'm obviously proud of them, and they're both enjoying it. So and they've both got potential to go on and do well as well. But it's up to them. They have to want to do it. It's no point me wanting them to do it. They've got to want to do it themselves.
You, I mean, I've just come in there this morning. You were sparring. 45, you've got the gloves on, all the Vaseline on your head, and you're back out there. You still seem to be as just in love with this sport now as you were when you're a young kid yourself.
Well, I think to be a trainer, you've either got to be mad or you've got to love the game, haven't you? And I love it. So I'm still training myself as well every day. I still, like I say, I still spar. Obviously, I'm not as intense as what they used to be, but That's my favourite out of all the training that the older ones do in the mornings before these lot come in. I prefer to spar than anything else. So yeah, I still love it. Of course I love the game. I watch the boxing, I watch the Commonwealth Games, boxing. We're at all the amateur shows. We're involved in all boxing, amateur and professional.
And it's particularly hard these last few days because you're on your own. Your Dave's rudely gone on holiday.
Yeah, he booked it. I think he booked it last year. To be fair, he's gone down south with his missus and kids. So having been in here like 24/7 for 360 days, or whatever it is, you do need a break. To be honest with you, so. Fair play to him. He's gone away for 2 weeks. I go away for a week myself with my missus and kids, so it'd be good just to get that break and then get back in nice and refreshed.
You don't know, because you know what you'll do. You'll find a gym somewhere, and you and the lads will all go down there training.
To be fair, probably will do. I've already found some boxing gyms. I'll ask the lads if they want to go. I'll take them. If they don't, then I'll go down and have a look anyway. Even if I don't train, I'll go and have a look at the gym, see what they're doing.
Yeah. Is there anything that you're learning? Because obviously you've just got this crop of ridiculously talented amateurs that have just come to you. Is there anything that you're picking up from them now? Because obviously, you know, you've always had good amateurs here, but them lot are like a whole new level. Is there anything that they're teaching you?
It's teaching me more so than anything. I won't say technically or anything like that, because I mean a lot of the stuff is similar, and I can work boxes out pretty fast, and that's what I was good at when I was actually boxing. So, like padding them and stuff like that. Within a couple of times of padding them, I know what shots to put there, what will work well with them. But what you do learn is what my kids, and I don't mean my sons, I mean my lads that I train, the young kids. It's what they need up there to be where them kids are. So and them lads are in that gym every day. Is
he rubbing off then? Is he rubbing off on the other kids? You finding that he's helping them?
Well, if it doesn't rub off, they're stupid. The kids are stupid and they're not going to go to that next level. I mean, it should be rubbing off when they're having to spar these lads, because you have to spar these lads. You know what I mean? And if these lads are beating my lads up, don't mean my sons, I'm on about the lads that we train.
Of course.
If they're beating them up, then my lads, they're all my lads, but my lads from original, they've got to be thinking, why they're so good? Well, I'll tell you why they're so good, because they're never out of the gym. They're never off the road. Do you know what I mean? They watch what they're eating. They live boxing. They love boxing, and you can, because of that, what they're doing. You know what I mean?
So those
later,
the future, doesn't it?
Nelson going to the world possibly. We got picked. Levi, same. Thomas, good kids. All good kids, and we've got good kids in here.
Well, Thomas wasn't down here today, but I believe Thomas has got a phenomenal amateur record. Was it 50 odd fights with only a couple of losses?
He's lost two fights out of them all. Yeah, he's a good kid. Very relaxed, and they've all got good timing. That's, you know, they have all got very good timing with them.
Well, like I say, I'm excited to see what they can do, and brilliant for this place, and brilliant for all your other young fighters, because it gives them something to look up to.
Yeah, of course it does.
Do they come on the amateur class, or do they just train with the pros these lot now?
This is what I'm saying. So they come in the morning, train with the pros, and they come back at night and train with the amateurs.
Crazy.
Travelling all that way. But listen, why are they so good? I'll tell you why, because they're never out of the gym. Do you know what I mean? People say, how is he so good? Because he's training.
How good do you think, because I've got a soft spot for Nelson Birchall, I've always really enjoyed watching him fight, but I've filmed his younger brother later a few times, but he's a kid that I keep getting. A lot of people tell me, you've got to watch him. Yeah. How good could he be?
Let him.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both very, very good kids, and I don't want to single any of them out. I think they can both go on and be the best sort of thing. Leighton,
but he's got a little bit of...
Yeah, he's got a bit more... He's different to Nelson. Nelson's more...
straightforward.
More, I won't say straightforward, I say he's more aggressive. You know, he puts his shots well. Nelson likes boxing on the inside and stuff like that, where Leighton mixes it up completely. He's a bit... He's a
real showman, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a little showman.
But like I said, I love Nelson's style because it's aggressive, it's always pleasing, you know. As a southpaw, sometimes you can get a lot of negative, and you think, turns me off more than it turns me on. But Nelson really excites me. I love watching him fight.
Yeah, but they're all... I mean, most of the kids are all... What we've got, we work on a lot on defence, so even though you get a kid what's aggressive, you can have aggressive but very good defence, you know, being aggressive. Then you got another kid who's on his back foot, good defence. I love watching the defensive side of them. You know, everyone, when we get people coming down to spam, we say, oh, your lads punch hard. It's just because of the technique, just making them do basics right, twisting the waist, bending them knees, you know, transferring weight, front foot, back foot, locking them arms out on that last split second, turning their knuckles over so you're connecting with them. Yeah. I remember doing it all myself, and I remember how much of a massive difference it was for me. Like I say, my first 9 pro fights, I stopped 1, and then in my next 15, I stopped 13. That's because I was doing
Who
something.
picked that up on you? Who picked that up and said to you, this is what you need to work on? Was that Brian Hughes?
Yeah, a bit of them all. Brian Pat, a little bit of Carl Ince as well on the pads. Just a bit of everything, but I realised it myself. And when I did I swear down. I remember actually, it was like somebody just switched the light on, and then I was actually going into fights thinking about. I was a good thinker, so I was going to fights and I was actually thinking, rather than just throwing a shot, I was thinking, I'm going to hit you there with that knuckle. Do you know what I mean? So whack. And it got to the point where when I was landing, I could feel every shot, and it was like, this is it. This is buzzing. I was buzzing, it were easy. And I was stopping everyone. I teach that, you know, from day one because it was such a massive thing for me. So the kids from this gym do punch quite hard.
Well, listen, what they all do is, like you say, they've got a great work ethic, and I think that stems from you and your Dave at the top, passing that down, and I think you have a very, very bright future with this crop of young fighters you've got, and the stable of pros that you've got. Hopefully are all going to become even bigger champions than they already are.
Yeah, well, it's just a matter of them believing in what we're showing them, and we've got to keep on top of what we're showing them. If we're showing them the same thing day in, day out, you get fed up. If you're doing the same sessions day in, day out, you get fed up.
But I suppose
you've got to go over.
Yes.
You've got to go over the basics. I get that. You've got to keep going over and over. But you've got to mix the sessions up. So when we're going over the basics, like one day we might be working on basics in a jab. Mike's like, this today we're going to work on turning that knuckle over and getting that shoulder up. We might work on a jab a different day, working on it on your back foot, pop, pop, snapping that jab, fast jab, you know what I mean? Might work on little feints, then a jab. So even though it's still working on the jab, there's a million different aspects of it as well. Do you get me? So you've got, this is what I'm saying, like today's session, what we did, we've done that 100 times, but today I put it across a little bit differently, just so they keep them switched on.
Well, I think it's working, mate. So, like I say, we'll look forward to the new amateur season kicking off in September, and maybe because I think I filmed one of your last amateur shows today when it was down in
Wigan.
Yeah,
it was in Monaco.
So that was when I think your Jack beat a kid.
Yeah, Jack.
8-0, I think he was.
He's had a tough start, Jack. To be fair, because he's had 5, hasn't he? Yeah, he's had 5.
I think he's won 4-1. He just said to me before.
Yeah, and he's unboxed kids, unbeaten kids. So he's been unlucky in one aspect, but he's also, I know where he's at.
Are you happy with the way he's touched it? Because it looks like it's a duck to water for him. He's got a really, really pleasing style.
Yeah, it's like, listen, you know, you get other people saying, I've not pushed my kids into boxing. They've done it because they want to do it. You know what I mean? And I've actually had someone say to me, it was one of the top end amateur coaches saying, we're speaking to such and such a body. They were saying that you push my kids. I've not pushed my kids into boxing at all. Do you know what I mean? I was happy going watching him play football.
I'm a bit jealous of Mikey because he's got that, you know what we were talking about before. Yes, you can work on power, you can improve it as you were saying before, but he seems to have serious power.
Both Mikey and Jack are very, very strong kids, and people will probably think because, you know, I wasn't knocking kids out in my first 9 fights, but after that I was stopping kids.
How did you do in your amateurs? Did you stop people in your amateurs?
Yeah, loads of kids I stopped in the amateurs. Loads of kids, but it is what it is. They're strong kids. Both of them are strong, and it is what it is. They're only kids anyway, aren't they? If they want to carry on.
But they seem to be really loving it, and they both believe that's where the future lies, which is nice, because I love this. Young Jamie Moore, good friend of yours, his son Mikey, you know, a guy again who's never interested in boxing. He's now living in the gym with him, you know, he's there every single day.
They weren't interested in it either.
No, you say.
None of them were. Jack, when Zoe used to come, when my missus used to come and pick Mikey up from the gym after Mikey first started, Jack wouldn't even come in gym, he used to wait in car.
I think it's when those hormones when you become a teenager, you know, because they were both about 14 when they started, weren't they?
Yeah,
13, 14, yeah. And so I think when those hormones come in, it's just a natural progression, and when it's in the blood like it is with yours.
They've been around boxing all their lives. I won the British title 4 weeks after Mikey was born. Do you know what I mean? I know he was only a baby, but from being, they've always been involved in boxing.
Yeah, well, like I just said, I remember seeing Mikey was about 2 years old. You know, Mikey Moore was about 2 years old when Jamie had won his British title, and he's there in his arms, but he never interested in him. Now he is. You know, look at the young Campbell Hatton, you know, with his dad. You know, young Jack Hatton. You know, Matthew's son. You know, I love it. I think it's, you know, it's something that father and son can do together, and you really understand what they've got to put themselves through to go where they want to go.
Yeah, you do understand as being an ex-boxer, obviously, what they have to go through, and sometimes it's frustrating that sometimes they might not want to go through that, but they still want to be professional, but they still want to be the best, but they have to learn to understand it themselves. There's no point in me telling them, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. They have to realise that they've got to do it.
When they see you talking to the likes of Jack Cullen and obviously Mark Jeffers and all these kids who are doing really well as a professional, they see it, and so they know what's going to be coming, and they know that if you can't play at boxing, can you?
No, you definitely can. I mean, if you start playing at boxing, you're not going to go anywhere anyway. You're not going to do anything even as an amateur, you know. And I don't mean that as a disrespectful term, saying even as an amateur. I'm on about that's where you start off the amateur days, your first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fights. If you're playing at the game, you're not going to get past 5 fights anyway. Probably pack up after a couple. You're going to get beat. Some of these kids nowadays, honestly, they're unbelievable. Some good kids coming through.
Yeah.
Some good kids coming through from the amateurs. When you go to the championships and you watch some of the kids, I think the level's higher than what it used to be.
Do you think this is going to help you as a professional coach further down the line, because you've been involved so closely with the amateurs? This new crop of fighters coming through, you're going to know who they are and how the best 100%. Way to try and beat them if you can.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the only one that we've had from being like 16, 17 is Mark Jeffers. Jack Cullen came to us after, you know, later on. Matty Askin came to us after he'd actually retired. Jack Anfield came to us after.
But what I mean is their opponents. So people that are fighting out of this gym, you will know the history of these kids.
Oh, yeah.
So it might not be now, but maybe in another 2-3 years' time, when this crop of amateurs that you've been watching and been keeping your eye on enter them, you probably got a sense of how you might be able to beat them with your fighting.
I mean, you do, but again, the amateur game, and it is so different to the professional game. You know, it's like you'll get some top class, like even world champion amateurs turn professional, and they don't do a great deal, do they? Yeah, you get some kids, it's like Johnny Nelson did.
Well, the kid we've just been speaking to there, Owen Lithgow, his cousin Lennox boxes for us, and he's one of my tips for a little bit of a dark horse, because no one expects anything of him, but I think he could do really well.
It is 2 different games. It's whichever game you take to as well, amateur or professional. You like to say you get some of the best professionals we've had have not had much amateur experience, have they? Yeah, some of the, you know, the ones that have been to the worlds and done great things as amateurs, not done that well as pros.
This is a perfect example. The kid you were talking about before, Matty Askins, was a good amateur. You know, he won an ABA title and all that, but his career never really went where it should have been going until he came here. Until he came here, and you revitalised him and transformed him back into the champion that he always should have been.
I think it's just making the kids believe in themselves more than anything. You know, Matty Askin was a talented kid. He was an athlete, Matty. He was good at everything.
Funny man.
Yeah, he's a funny man, to be fair. I still speak to him now. He's a good lad, Matty. Just getting the kids to believe in themselves more than anything.
Yeah, well, like
and in what we're showing them.
Yeah, I think that just complements it, you know, with the pros here. They see it on the big stage, you see it on TV, you see him being successful, so it just confirms that belief that actually, these kids do know what they're talking about, because he told me what he was going to do and he's gone out and done it.
Yeah, I mean, with Matty, I mean, before the fight, we worked on like particular, you know, combinations and what shots we thought the opponents were open to and what shots we thought Matty could be vulnerable to. Like a lot of the stoppages, I'm not saying who, but a lot of the stoppages or knockouts that Matty had as a professional, we'd worked on that exact shot in the gym, and he carried it off well. You know, he went in there and he did it. And if you ask Matty, he'll tell you the same thing.
Yeah.
And same with all the lads. It's like, you expected Jack Arnfield to beat John Ryder.
No, I know.
Do you know what I mean?
John's still right up there now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's top kid, that John Ryder. You know, he had a close fight with Callum Smith.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is.
A lot of people thought he won.
Mm.
Well, anyway, listen, it's been a pleasure, always a pleasure coming down here. Great seeing, like I say, new crop of young lads, and it's great to have some big fights, because so that's the reason why I was down here, to speak to Matthew Rennie.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a brilliant fight, and it's that fight that he needs closure, because he's the only guy to put a blemish on his record, isn't he?
Yeah, Matty's got to beat this kid. He's got to.
Yeah. Right, well, I think he knows that, and that's what's going to make it a cracking fight. And
Definitely.
his first 8-rounder and first top in the bill.
Yeah, be class 9, September the 10th.
Right, you take care, mate.
So,
see you.
Bye.
For all boxing info, news and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.